Like as soon as we get under the covers here, not like that.
Let's cuddle.
Yeah, under the covers with your pole. All right.
You ready?
Simo,
Yes?
where are we?
Hi. We are in Vietnam.
We are.
In Hanoi specifically, which is the northern capital. Actually, it's just the capital of Vietnam.
Correct.
And I think it's a good place to talk about something because of just, I want to preface this by saying this is not planned,
No.
but it was a feeling we got very, very intensely when we first arrived here.
Yes.
Something we've been noticing is that, at least for us, and I think for a lot of foreigners, Vietnam might be the new golden age of China, kind of like that feeling we used to get when we first got to China.
Honestly, I do feel like Vietnam, I get the same feeling here as when I first got to China.
Right.
The same sort of hustle and bustle, the excitement, the adventure, the food, the people. It's got the very, very same feeling that attracted me to China in the first place.
Right. Now, before I ask you your very personal experience,
Sure.
I want to ask you something. Oh, these people are like freaking out. Before I get into this, I want to say something. There's this thing called culture shock. Everybody knows about it,
Yeah,
right?
honeymoon period, right?
You have your honeymoon period. We are not going to be speaking from honeymoon period lens
no,
because to me, Vietnam doesn't give me a honeymoon period because it's so similar to China.
Incredibly similar.
I feel very at home here, so there's no shock and awe right now.
Yeah, it's not like, oh my word, look at this amazing new place. It's One Truan Bhuyan from where I'm from.
Right. Hello.
Hello.
So I want to ask you, what are the reasons that you think this may be the new place to experience that China amazing, awesome, lifestyle?
Well, first of all, there's a level of chaos here,
Right.
which no longer exists in China. Why am I walking in this gutter?
You're a gutter walker.
I'm walking in the gutter. Yeah.
I
Okay.
can swap places.
No, that's fine. I'll just get back up here on the road so I can get up to normal elevated status.
Okay.
Anyway, there's a level of chaos here which has been gotten rid of in China. All the bikes buzzing around, right? The street food stalls at night, all the happenings. In China, they've cleaned that up.
Right. Right.
So they ban motorcycles in most of the big cities. Bear in mind, this is the capital, right? So you will not find that in Beijing.
No.
I mean, you won't see a scene like what we're seeing right now.
Right.
Just this chaotic movement everywhere. These bikes just going crazy.
Right.
Riding everywhere. And so you miss that now. You go to China, it's all just very fancy cars.
Right.
You can't get a bike, you don't have that freedom of movement. Here you can just rent or buy a motorcycle and you can explore the whole country.
Sure.
You can't do that in China. It's impossible for us Uyghur to just arrive and rent a bike.
Right.
There's no such thing.
Now, my devil's advocate to that is that it sounds like we are celebrating lack of progress and China got rich, so now it's not fun anymore, but that's not the case.
No.
Actually, I feel more progress and excitement in the air here than I do currently in China. It's almost like China's in this middle income trap in the big cities.
Sure.
Where everything is getting cracked down on and then people just kind of live a normal life. Whereas here, the economy's expanding, a lot of factories and businesses and stuff moving here.
Correct.
And there's a general air in the air that things are going to get better, but they're still exciting and crazy.
Sure.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, back to the whole chaotic thing as well. Like I said, the street food, the going out and just chilling out and drinking beer on the streets and having a great time.
Right.
It may sound selfish because it's kind of like it's a holiday vibe. It's something exciting and accessible and cheap, and it's something that really, especially if you're a young man or somebody who likes to go out and enjoy life, it's very attractive, right?
Right.
And that's kind of why, to be completely honest, a person would travel halfway across the world.
Right.
Because why would you go somewhere else? Why would you not stay at home?
Right.
The problem is China is becoming more and more like home.
Right.
So they clean up the street vendors. They don't want them there anymore. They make shining cities. They ban motorcycles. everything becomes incredibly expensive.
Right.
So you may as well just be living back home at that point.
Right.
But the thing is, it's like home, but it's not at the same level.
Right. Right.
If that makes sense.
Absolutely.
Because,
I mean, if you wanted to live a Western first world lifestyle, you could do it cheaper, more safely, with more job security, rights, and services, and you could do it better in your own country.
yes, without having the internet blocked.
Right.
You know, because that really messes with you. Without having the police knocking on your door, tough visa regulations.
Right.
Why would you not just live back home? It would be better for you.
So in a way,
Yeah.
this is kind of that exotic experience, right?
Sure.
At the same time, when I first got to China, like you said, stuff was cheap.
Yes,
right?
yes.
So my money, even though I made absolute garbage,
Sure.
was stretched. I
Yeah.
could stretch that dollar for a long time in China. And the other thing is that I could go on the internet
Yeah.
and post my material without having the internet blocked, like you said, right?
Sure,
So
sure.
It's just like China circa 2008 or something.
Yeah, it feels like, well, for me, 2006, but
Right.
same thing.
Yeah.
Correct. Also, you touched on it, the opportunity and the growth.
Right.
Right now, China is stagnating.
Right.
Don't listen to what the GDP figures say, all right? Because obviously they are inflated to make, you know, they have certain things they have to reach.
Right.
But if you look at it in real life from a living there perspective, everything's kind of reached a plateau.
Right.
And now, because things are slowing down, people are starting to get fearful of the future rather than optimistic of the future.
Right.
And that means clamping down, closing down, right?
Right.
The attitude towards foreigners and foreign businesses and things is getting hostile rather than friendly. Whereas here, because everything's on the up and up and on the rise, things are different. They treat foreigners as an opportunity to make money.
Right.
They treat foreign investment well. They're happy, they want it. So, you know, you get a much more friendlier vibe.
Right.
Make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. There's been, you know, since, let's say 2012,
Yeah.
we noticed in China that the general feeling on the street was that people now are taught and told
Yeah.
that Western influence is a bad thing, right?
Absolutely. They're purging Western influence from textbooks,
Right.
you know, all that nonsense.
So yeah, that's kind of, you know, what we want to talk about. There is a very, very similar feeling to the old days of China here, you know?
Sure.
And it's not just the party thing. I really think if you wanted to be in a place where it's chaotic, but it's also hopeful.
Yeah.
Maybe you're a little bored back home.
Sure.
Thus far, Vietnam seems like the place to be.
Well, you know, it's not a coincidence that a lot of people that I know who've lived in China for many years have now moved here to Vietnam.
Yes.
You know, the people that have been there for as long as I have, you know, 15 years, 14 years, 10 years, 9 years, 8 years, doesn't matter. They are moving here now because they're sick and tired of all the repression and all the, you know, the constant limitations that are being put in place.
Right, right.
And they still want the same lifestyle. They still want the vibrant Asian lifestyle because, well, let's be honest, Vietnam, at least what we've seen so far up north, I know this is the capital city, but we've been out there in the small villages. We've spent days riding through, you know, the countryside. It feels exactly like southern China.
Right.
So you get the same, I don't know, fun, community feeling, people inviting you to sit and drink at their tables.
Right.
The friendliness and hospitality is there. You know, the society is also an agrarian society. It's very similar. You know, they celebrate the same festivals. They've got the same system of writing, at least they used to.
Right.
You know, it's basically the same place, except without all the restrictions. I can watch YouTube and I can access Facebook. It's amazing.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So anyway, anything you'd like to add to that?
Again, I just want to be very, address this very clearly. Winston and I do not BS. It's just the feeling on the street right now. It's not a honeymoon thing. I'm not in love with Vietnam, by the way. I want to say that.
I don't plan to move here.
No, but looking back on the experiences that you and I shared in our own lives, it's pretty much the same.
Yes.
So it would be remiss not to mention that. You know.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
I would safely say this is an option if you're looking to have some fun.
Yeah, I mean, if it was about, I don't know, going overseas to do a gap year somewhere,
right?
And you could choose between China or Vietnam, I would probably suggest people come to Vietnam.
As of now.
Yeah, just if you wanted to have the same kind of experience that we did.
Right.
You know, the fun, vibey, chaotic, going out and drinking kind of thing. You know?
For sure.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, another thing obviously is because the service industry is very big here.
Right.
People are a lot more friendly.
Right.
That it doesn't matter where you go, if you're close to one of the biggest cities anyway, people can speak English. They aspire to speak English because it's a way to get out of poverty, a way to get a better job.
Right.
And you've got all these fantastic services catering towards tourists.
Right.
So they're genuinely like friendly and seek you out, you know?
Right.
So it is a big plus.
Cool.
Anyway.
Well, that's about it.
Yep. Have you told everyone to do the things?
What do you guys think? Do you think Vietnam's the next big thing? Leave it down in the comments below. Give us a like if you like the video, and subscribe if you want to see a lot more videos like this. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, and you know, whether you like to travel to China or Vietnam, we love you all the same. China is still a fantastic place, but if you want to have the kind of experience that we had when we first got to China, you will not find it anymore. It's not there, not in the big cities. You know, maybe in like a third-tier city or something, you might.
Maybe.
But you can be guaranteed that kind of lifestyle if you come to Vietnam. And also, visas are so much easier to get
at
here.
the airport.
Yeah, exactly. Even me as a South African.
Right.
All I needed to do was that online application. We arrived in the airport and bam, there it is.
Right.
So yeah, come here first maybe.
Have a look.
Yeah, have a couple days here and then go off to China and compare the two.
Not a bad idea.
Yeah, anyway, love you all the same. Stay awesome. Catch another ADV China down here every single Monday, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Up here we have Lao 86 on Wednesday. And of course, SerpentZA, me, on Friday in time for a beer, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.